Here's what nobody tells you about looking rich. Most of it is packaging. The car, the watch, the kitchen that looks like a magazine spread. That's the version we're sold. But almost everything that actually makes a life feel rich is already sitting in front of you, and it costs exactly nothing. A slow morning, a clear head, a body that actually slept. The stuff was never the point. It was a stand-in for a feeling. So today, 15 luxuries that cost $0, and why the people who feel richest usually spend the least to get there. Here's the tell. Talk to someone who's genuinely, calmly, sleep like a baby wealthy, and they almost never point to a purchase. They point to how their days actually feel. The slow coffee, the walk with no destination, not owing anyone an explanation for their time. None of that is for sale, which is exactly why nobody's advertising it to you. Instead, we get sold the opposite. Research on subscription spending consistently finds the same gap. The average person guesses they spend around $86 a month on subscriptions, but when every recurring charge is actually itemized, the real number lands closer to $219. We keep renting the feeling of a rich life on a monthly plan, when the real version was free the whole time. 15 of these, one at a time. A few will feel obvious, a couple might change tomorrow morning, and the very last one quietly holds the other 14 together. Stay for that one. 1. The first hour, before the world gets its hands on you. Most of us hand that hour away half asleep. The average American now checks their phone around 186 times a day, and about 85% do it within 10 minutes of waking up. So, before you've had one original thought, you've already absorbed everyone else's. The fix costs nothing. Phone face down for 60 minutes. Something warm to drink. Let your own thoughts show up first. People book spa weekends chasing exactly this feeling. You can have it for free before 8 in the morning. 2. A genuinely unbothered night of sleep. We treat sleep like the first thing to cut when life gets busy. Flip that. Rest is the luxury item, and money is bad at buying it. A hospital nurse, call her Renata, spent years running on 4 broken hours and coffee. Her income didn't change the year she started protecting sleep. Everything else did. Patience, focus, that low hum of dread, gone. No new mattress, no gadget, just a protected last hour before bed. No screens, lights down. A rested body moves through the world like it owns the place, and that's free. 3. Time outside, somewhere green. A University of Exeter study tracking almost 20,000 adults in England found a clear threshold. People who spent at least 2 hours a week in nature, a park, a trail, a stretch of trees, were significantly more likely to report good health and high well-being than people who got none at all. It didn't matter if that 2 hours came in one long walk or 5 short ones, and the effect held across income levels, age groups, and even people managing long-term health conditions. Nobody's charging admission for morning light through trees. You don't need a forest. A tree-lined street or a bench by water does the job. A retail worker named Desmond started eating lunch on a bench by a duck pond 3 blocks from his office instead of at his desk. 20 minutes, 5 days a week, gets him well past the threshold without ever taking a vacation day. 4. Doing one thing at a time. Your attention is probably the most valuable thing you own, and a lot of companies are competing to rent it from you for free. A software engineer, we'll call him Idris, used to run 3 inputs at once. Email while eating, a show while working, phone in hand during his kid's bedtime story. Busy every minute, present for none of it. When he started doing one thing fully, he said it felt like someone turned the volume back up on his own life. Give one moment your whole self. 5. A space that's calm because you cleared it, not filled it. Every object you own quietly charges rent, in space, in cleaning, in background stress. A retired teacher, Margaret, spent one weekend removing anything she wouldn't bother replacing if it vanished. Sold some, gave away the rest, spent nothing. Her rooms felt bigger by Monday. A clear room is a luxury hotel feeling for $0, funded entirely by letting go. 6. The freedom to say no. Researchers at Harvard Business School and the University of British Columbia followed more than 1,000 college graduates for 2 years and found that the ones who valued their time over money reported higher life satisfaction later on, regardless of what they went on to earn. A separate study from the same research group, covering thousands of adults across the United States, Canada, Denmark, and the Netherlands found people who used money to buy back time, even small amounts, like paying for grocery delivery instead of doing it themselves, reported greater life satisfaction across every income level. Money didn't have to be part of the payoff at all. The time itself was the return, and the simplest way to protect your time costs nothing. It's a complete sentence: no. No to the meeting that should have been a message. No to the plan you already dread. No to the favor that swallows the one Saturday you needed for yourself. Every no you say is a yes to something you actually care about. The only real cost is the small wave of guilt right after you say it. 7. A long walk with nowhere to be. Not exercise, not step counts, just moving at the speed of a thought. A warehouse manager, Solomon, started walking after dinner. No phone, no destination. Problems that felt enormous at his desk shrank by the second corner. Some of his best ideas showed up uninvited. The sidewalk outside your door has never once been behind a paywall. 8. A real meal, made at home, eaten slowly. We outsource cooking and rush eating with one hand on a phone. But a simple meal you made, eaten at an actual table, screen out of reach, is what the finest restaurant is really selling: attention. It's also cheaper, which quietly helps the bigger money picture too. 9. Real silence, on purpose. Genuine quiet has gotten rare, which means it's gotten valuable. Sit with zero input for 20 minutes. No music, no scrolling. Uncomfortable for the first 5 minutes. Then something unclenches. People pay real money to fly to silent retreats for exactly this. Yours is available tonight for free. 10. Reading, especially something you didn't pay for. A library card unlocks thousands of books, audiobooks, and often free courses and streaming. A bus driver, Harlan, works through a fresh stack every month and calls it a private education on a public budget. One card can replace a small stack of subscriptions and hand you an evening that feels expensive for nothing. 11. A real conversation with someone you love. This one matters more than it sounds. The United States Surgeon General's 2023 Advisory on Loneliness found that the mortality risk of chronic social disconnection is similar to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, worse than the risk from obesity or physical inactivity, and roughly half of American adults report feeling lonely. The cure isn't for sale. A call to the friend you keep meaning to reach. An unhurried dinner where nobody checks the time. A retiree named Josephine started a standing Thursday phone call with her sister, 3 states away. 15 minutes, every week, no agenda. 2 years in, she says it's the appointment she's canceled the least out of everything on her calendar. The richest feeling people usually aren't the least isolated by accident. They tend to few real relationships on purpose. 12. Noticing what you already have. Wanting less beats earning more as a route to feeling rich, because wanting rarely finishes itself. The finish line moves the moment you reach it. Gratitude breaks the loop. Not the greeting card version, just pausing to notice what was already good about today. It's the one luxury that's completely impossible to overspend on. 13. Opening your home to people you care about. We've been sold the idea that hosting needs a showroom. A mechanic, Raphael, runs a plain Sunday dinner most weeks. A pot of something cheap, mismatched chairs, whoever can make it. He calls it the richest few hours of his week, for the price of rice and beans. It also beats another night out, spending money to feel connected to strangers, a rare case where the cheaper option is the better one. 14. Teaching yourself something for free. There's more freely available instruction right now than at any point in history. Full courses, trades, languages, instruments. A home health aide, Winnie, taught herself to bake, then basic repairs, then the fundamentals of investing, all from free resources during lunch breaks. Learning compounds the way money compounds, a small deposit of curiosity now, a meaningful return later. 15. Financial peace. Not a big number in an account. The calm of knowing you're not one bad week from disaster. A delivery driver, Tobias, doesn't earn a fortune, but built a small cushion in a high-yield savings account. As of this year, the best high-yield accounts pay around 4%, while the national average across all savings accounts sits under 1%, closer to 0.4%. On a $10,000 cushion, that gap is the difference between earning roughly $40 a year and roughly $400. He's not rich by any conventional measure, but a car repair no longer feels like an emergency. That cushion's real value isn't the interest, it's what a scary phone call turns into. A minor annoyance instead of a crisis. And you don't need a windfall to start it. A school teacher named Priya started hers with $20 a week automated out of every paycheck before she ever saw it. 18 months later, without ever finding extra money, she had 4 months of expenses saved. So, 15 luxuries, and not one needed a bigger paycheck. The slow morning, the long walk, the quiet hour, the full table, the good night's sleep, and underneath all of it, knowing you're going to be all right. The expensive version of rich was mostly packaging. The real thing was free the whole time, sitting in the parts of the day we kept rushing past. Pick one of these 15 and actually protect it this week. You'll feel richer by Friday without your balance moving an inch. Which one do you already do without calling it a luxury? Which one hit close to home? Drop your own free luxury in the comments. Some of my favorite ideas started there. Tell me which one you're trying first. I'll see you in the next one.